All right. Hello, everybody. Thanks for joining. I'm John Lee from Dashboard Dudes, and I'm accompanied by,
Emmy from Domo.
it's like we're in a Brady Bunch. We're just like looking up, looking down. We're in the same room, actually. Just kidding. We're super excited to talk to you today about some really brand new app that we were able to produce. And I was able to go to Japan and present this with Noah. And I just want to show you, the community, how this cool thing can work. But before I do that, I would love to ask Emmy, I'd love to ask you a question. Hey, what's a tool or ingredient in your kitchen that you haven't touched in a year?
The first thing that comes to mind is have a knife block like most people do, but I don't use all of my knives because I don't know how. I typically just use my steak knives to cut everything, so that's just something that I need to get better at for sure.
I would actually love to know this. What's the longest knife you have in that block? Is it like a big 10-inch one or an 8
My
inch or 6 inch?
I have a long bread knife. I
A
don't know how
bread
many.
knife,
Yeah,
a serrated bread
that's the
knife.
longest one.
God,
Yeah.
yeah. Cutting steak with a bread knife. Just
No, I would never do that. Not that bad.
one time I was at a party and I brought a baguette. I'm very good at making baguettes, and somebody else brought some charcuterie, like this big sausage thing. And I brought my bread knife. I have a very good industrial bread knife that's all one piece of metal. There's no plastic on the handle or anything. And I saw this person, they used it to cut the baguette, which makes a lot of sense. And then she used it to also cut some sausage. And I'm like, wow, this tells me so much about you. Just saying that.
No longer friends.
Yeah. And it was like, it wasn't even like cutting, it was like smushing. I'm like, oh gosh, okay. Now we got
Pain.
it. Yeah. Anyway, the reason why I'm asking, Emmy, I'm asking that question is because think about our kitchen. If we have things that we haven't used in a long time, like this knife block, well, for me, I'm extremely guilty of having a bunch of spices in my pantry that I just do not touch because in my mind, I'm like, they never go bad ever. So I just never touch them. We don't fully utilize our kitchen. Now, Domo has moved to this consumption model, which means everything in the kitchen is up for grabs. Imagine having a kitchen with all these tools, all these ingredients at your disposal, all the cool things you can make with them. So, for instance, here we can see that these are some examples of some amazing Domo features, such as Alert, App Studio, Embed, variables, workflows, etc. Right? We have all these amazing things, but the question is, are you using them, or when was the last time you or somebody on your team used them? So this was a question I had, and I was like, man, I don't know if my clients or myself, what have I not used in a long time. So I was able to make this thing, and this thing says, hey, here are some features, for instance, what has been used. Oh, what has not been used. Okay. How popular is it among Domo users? And thank you, Noah, for helping me get this data set. So we could say, oh, this alerts is like 10. This is super popular. But you know what, John? You haven't really touched this thing in a super long time. Like, oh, yeah, I really, really haven't, well, at least on this instance. But I have touched scheduled reports, some workflow stuff. Okay, cool. So it helps me understand where do I need to focus on. And this is another view that shows me the popularity, the feature, and again, when was the last time I used it? So I can say, oh, wow. Okay, scheduled reports, I'm good. Oof, haven't touched these other big three ones in a long time. So why does that matter? Because if you can have features interact with each other, like different flavors, different tools working together, you could do so much with cooking. So, for instance, what I could do is I could say, hey, go set an alert, go have that alert trigger a report, or go have that alert trigger a workflow, which could then trigger another workflow. We're using all of the kitchen together to really do some amazing stuff in here. And Domo actually has that ability right now. You can say, here's an alert. And what do you want to do? I want it to trigger a webhook, a task, a workflow schedule report. But that's what we're trying to show. How can we get all these things to move? Furthermore, we could do it with chart types. So for me, chart types are very much like flavors. You have salty, sweet, whatever. I could see here are some charts I haven't used in a long time. What's really popular? And let me show you why I think this is really important. Here, I'm going to ask you this question, right? If I ask you here, these two different charts, the left has purple as this year, blue as last year. It's fairly easy for you to see how do we do in October compared to last October, right? No problem. Well, how do we do in October compared to this past September? No problem. Without looking at the one on the right, though, if I asked you, hey, how much better is the purple than the blue this year compared to last year? What would your answer be?
I don't know.
It's tricky, right? It's one flavor that's good for us to see, but when we accompany it with another flavor, oh, now we can see the answer. Boom, in 3 seconds. We have a 12 and a 7. Good. I know my answer is 5,000 more in 3 seconds. Done, right? So that's my point. When we know what we're working with, we can accompany flavors to bring out the overall flavor. I say this in cooking. Salt, your food should not taste salty. Salt should enhance the natural flavor. It should not taste super sweet. Sugar should enhance the natural flavor of fruit, of chocolate, or whatever. Make sense? Make sense? Okay. So I was able to produce this, but then I was talking to Noah and Emmy on their team, and I was like, this is cool, but what can we do to really teach people how do they learn these new features and these charts and how can they apply it to themselves? So I'm going to hand it over to Emmy, who will show us some really cool features.
All right, so like John said, this is the app that we put together with Noah and his help to help people figure out what kinds of charts and features in Domo they are underutilizing. So right now I have charts selected, and we can see here on the left various chart types that Domo offers. This uses our AI service layer to give us some information about each of these chart types that will help us understand better when it might be good to use them. We have some potential use cases along with just a basic description of the chart, example of what it might look like in Domo. And then John has put together some lovely videos of what the charts are, how to use them, why you might need them, depending on the kind of data you have, that kind of stuff. Another cool thing about this app is we have this option up here to select data, and this lets you provide context to the app for these charts and features and specifically apply them to the data that you have in your Domo instance. So this is just one of the data sets in John's instance, and here's some of the data that appears in there. I'm going to save that context, and then I'll go ahead and click on one of these chart types. This will pass that context to the AI service layer, and it will return potential use cases that are actually specific to the data that you're using. This also works with features. So if I come over here to the features section, let's say I want to learn more about workflows. Um, this is going to, again, return a description of that feature in Domo, and it provides some use cases. These are some of the columns that appeared in that data set that we passed to it, and then another video. The last thing is, since we built this to demo at Domopalooza Japan, we have the ability to see all of this in Japanese. So for all of our Japanese customers, this is just a fun little extra for this app that makes it a little bit easier for you guys to use.
That is so cool. And Noah was giving me some heat by saying, but John's videos will still be in English. And I learned to say mizu kudasai, which means water, please. Sushi kudasai, which means sushi, please. And komi kudasai, which means trash, please. But it doesn't really mean please. It means I learned on the street. It means may I have. So I was just asking people, may I have trash? And that's what I learned the hard way. But anyway, well, very cool, very cool. Thank you for that. Hey, and if you want, if you go further down, you can see here we have this whole library of all these feature videos, how to use them, chart types. You have that at your disposal too. So what's super cool about this is available right now. When we debut this in Japan, you can get it right away. So let me show you how to go do that. So if you go to App Store at the top, and if you were to type in Discovery app or Dashboard Dudes, you'll be brought to this page. And if I click it, all you have to do is hit Get, and it'll download the exact same dashboard that we showed you in this presentation. So you'll get it here, but you have to do something once you get it. You will get an ETL, okay? And this ETL is going to be called Organization Domopalooza Feature Usage Dataset. I'd like you to open that ETL and you have to change this thing. I put a little yellow sticky note that says it'll be a web form, but you have to put in your activity log. That's all you have to do, connect it, and you're good to go. If you do not have that activity log, here's how to go do it super quickly. We're going to go to Data, Connectors. We're going to go to Domo Stats, click that thing. And then you just have to click here, client activity log, and download it. Once you get that, let's go here. We're going to edit this ETL, and all you have to do is swap that out. And once you do that, your results will show exactly how your team has been using Domo features, how long it's been, charts, all that cool stuff. Last thing that I'll say that if you are interested in learning more, you can totally get a 14-day trial of Dashboard Dudes, where I teach a lot of courses on how to use Domo, how to use workflows, App Studio, Databricks, all these cool things. So you can go here to dashboardjuice.com/trial or scan this if you want to. You can get that. And one more thing that I want to say is that this is, this is very, very, very fun to partner with you and Noah and to build this cool thing. I really like making things that are actually useful and not just with this AI train that's moving around everywhere. Everybody's just showing things that I think are like, are they really useful? So I'm really happy that we were able to work together to produce something that uses AI to show people how are they using Domo internally and what they could do to enhance their experience. Cool.
Me too.
All right, last thing for you, Emmy. If we were playing Beauty and the Beast, and if you were transformed into any kitchen appliance or tool that you have, what do you think yours would be, and what would Noah's be? What would mine be? I
Um,
I'm probably the hot water kettle, the like electronic hot water kettle that has different temperatures because I'm a big tea guy.
so I don't have this, but my parents have it. They have an uni pizza oven.
Oh,
And I really want to get one as soon as I have the space for it because I love pizza, especially homemade pizza. I don't know if that like describes who I am, but it's just something that I really
your
like.
pizza oven, your pizza
Yeah.
oven. Uh,
Um, for
Eddie
Noah.
Small actually has a pizza oven. So when you
Oh,
hang out with
really?
Eddie, you
Yeah.
hang out with Eddie, there you go. Noah, what's Noah? I think Noah, Noah's a big breakfast guy. He loves breakfast.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, he's a big breakfast guy, but he doesn't cook. So Noah to me is a cereal bowl.
Yeah, that's
That's what
pretty
he
accurate,
gets. That's what he
actually.
gets. Cool.
Yeah.
All right,
Very
appreciate
simple.
it. Thank you so much.
Yeah, no problem.